Hello! Since the release of my Sigrdrífa analysis a few days ago, we have had the live stream, the official showcases, and a few more things. And while many were screaming filler patch and Sigrika cooked, I was tracing some connections with the content of my previous video, and oh boy, there are a few connections indeed. So in this video, I'll quickly address them and add a few new elements to the mix from the latest media, so that I can explain to you why 3.2 is going to be massive and Kuro is deceiving you, making you think this is a relatively chill patch, while in reality they are setting up shocking surprises. One of my main claims from the last video was this one. Sigrika isn't sure to discern good from evil, and she fears she's getting deceived by a bad actor. The Fraxidus, whether she is aware or not of their identity, whether she formerly joined them or not, are taking advantage of her. She's getting manipulated and used as a pivotal piece in their mysterious schemes. Well, the new videos strongly reinforce this. I previously mentioned how Dania was able to influence Sigrika, and indeed in the Resonator showcase we see Dania conditioning her, reminding her responsibilities and the high expectations weighing on her. We already knew about Sigrika suffering pressure from the Roya because of her special resonance with the runes and being a promising Melodic 6 successor. But now we also know that this puts such a strain on her mental stability that she's considered at potential risk of overclocking. I had also addressed in the past how runes could be extremely powerful, so Dania keeping Sigrika in a stressed mental state could be intentional to exploit her resonance. Also, as a Soulsborn, Sigrika's resonance has a high affinity with Exostrider and the Soliskins, and it can't be a coincidence that Luke just in the segue informs Rover of the existence of a giant Soliskin network sealing the Strider Gate with a piece of Aleph 1 on the Solaris side. I'll go back to that later in the video, but first I need to address Dania, because we already speculated she could be the Fraxidus mole, but Kuro is making her affiliation with the Fraxidus even more blatant than Nivora being Red Architect was in 3.1. It's so obvious that it can't be all there is to it. In my previous video, I speculated how Nivora being such a dead giveaway was a strategy to distract from Sigrika, and I think Kuro is implementing the same strategy again. Sigrika is way more implicated in the Fraxidus schemes than it seems at first glance. She even likely passed information outside of the infirmary for Grand Architect, whether she was conscious of that or not, we discussed that already. So on top of being manipulated and exploited, as I said in the previous video, it's not unthinkable that she will come out as the Fraxidus mole, or more in general, be ready for at least one big plot twist about her. Back to Dania. While she is surely affiliated with the Fraxidus and our current main suspect as the mole, there's surely much more to her. Among other connections and references you might have seen online already, one I didn't see around at all before I started posting about it is how the Starry Night element in the inner part of her hair can be similarly found in the new extravagant Fraxidus enemies.
If you encounter artificers with more creative modifications, you're likely looking at the handiwork of Hydra. Hydra is their leading mind on human evolution and body modifications. Whoever they are, they often work in tandem with Siren.
I believe Dania is actually the Fraxidus overseer Siren. In Greek mythology, Sirens are known for deceiving sailors with their singing and lure them into the abyss. The kind of influence we saw Dania exercising on Sigrika, the deceptive manipulation and the way she drags her back into depression, strongly resonates with that to me. Someone also noticed how Dania, similar to Dania, means judged by God, and Sirens in some versions are punished by Demeter, so there could be that. But arguably the strongest clue by far is more simply that on look screen, Siren is pink. There are not many pink characters in the game, so I mean, take it for what it is, okay? Do what you want with this information. But if Dania is Siren, then where is Hydra? Or who is Hydra? I have no clue, but keep an eye on that. I think in the next patch we're also going to discover who this girl the Fraxidus wants to merge with the Therianodian is. I already speculated about Sigrika in the previous video, and of course Amath also remains a fair candidate. But now Dania looks a promising one too. Notice her design resembling a lock or some kind of seal, as if she is hiding or containing a dangerous power. This power could be potentially linked to Aleph, making her the subject in the creation of the Therianodian Resonator. But I also saw people mentioning the seal could be linked to the Strider Gate or the seal on it. Maybe she resonates with the Strider Gate or with its seal. Honestly, I don't really dig this, but who knows, it could be. So, I talked about the Therianodian Resonator, but what about the actual Therianodian? What does Aleph to do with the dark side of the Academy? And anyway, how do you even resonate with something potentially billions of light years away from us? Or is it? Because while until recently we thought Aleph was simply on the other side of the Strider Gate and at most it could exploit weaknesses in the seal to manifest a fraction of its power in Lahai-roi, now thanks to Luke we have the very specific information that Aleph is actually fragmented and part of it is on our side of the gate inside the seal. When I read this the first time, I thought this could allow Chisa to help keeping the fragments separate in the future using her forte. But as I hinted in the previous video, this would also make it easier for the Flaxidus to exploit the Thernodian for their schemes. Also, why all these black holes? Even this giant ball of benches in the middle of the sky, actually the benches could be hiding the black hole inside. And see how the sky here has the void space texture. I told you this is not a filler patch, so be prepared. The White Rabbit is a clear reference to Alice in Wonderland, and like Alice, Sigrika is disoriented and in search of her identity, but also extremely curious and brave, things even Luke tells us in his voice lines. By the end of the story, Alice openly challenges the Queen and she recognizes that chaotic world doesn't truly have power over her. So I suspect the journey in 3.2 will also give Sigrika a similar growth and give her the courage and confidence to make a strong decision. In the trailer, she said,
"This isn't about proving myself anymore. It's about doing what's right."
And later she also said,
"I want to find the answer myself."
So, taking things in her own hands. Whatever it is that she will do, it probably won't be easy, and there might be a price to pay. In Norse mythology, Sigrdrífa defied Odin's will because she judged Agnar more worthy than his opponent. She did what she thought was the right thing to do, even going against the King of Gods, but she got punished for that. Will Sigrika do something selfless? What is this right thing she has to do, and how much will it cost her? I mentioned in the previous video how I expected Kuro with Sigrika to draw some parallelisms with Eimal, and looking at this scene in the trailer further confirms this sentiment. Rover for her is going to be surely a friend, but also an island of solace in a sea of pressure and anxiety, as well as someone who each other will eventually trust, another word very present both in the trailers and Sigrika's own kit. Eventually, Sigrdrífa is saved by Sigurd in the myth. In a similar way, I'm sure Rover will be able to save Sigrika, and after that, exactly like in the Norse myth, Sigrika will teach Rover the runes. I already talked about this in the previous video, so I'll just remind you that Sigrika, even after 3.2, will be pivotal in the story, so don't worry, she won't be forgotten at all. Okay, I'd like to talk about more things, but I don't have time for longer videos, so we'll keep it at that. Thank you really much for watching. I can't wait to play this story, and I guess you all are very excited too. I won't have time to make a new video before next week, but expect one eventually. Also, I'm planning to do 3D crafting content on Sigrika and maybe even a small combat guide, as well as, if I can make it work, some crazy quick swap showcase, so expect that one too. That's all for today. See ya!